I promise there's a reason. So the other day I looked on the top of my microwave and I noticed that I had 5 or so very overripe bananas, and I knew I needed to use them in some way because Lord knows I ain't actually eating them because they're all like, not being racist or anything, but like, and so I decided that I would make some banana themed recipes, hence the outfit. And no, I'm not gonna wear this while I cook. Sorry. So here's our starting point in bananas, and the first thing that I was gonna make is some oat and banana pancakes. So I just mashed it together with a fork when I was supposed to like actually use a food processor, and they ended up being like really thick. Look at them sizzling, wow. And then they kind of burnt, and then they look disgusting. And yeah, then this is the plate that I made for my mom. I tried to make it like look all nice, but it's really not it at all. I'm also sorry for not really recording this part that much. It was just kind of like, it wasn't the main thing for today. And I had a Google Meet within like 15 minutes that I started making this, so I kind of had to hurry up and do that and couldn't really film much, so I'm sorry. So basically, those pancakes were trash. They were too thick. I couldn't get them to like flatten out like actual pancakes, so they were like really like burnt on the outside basically and really sludgy on the inside. I mostly think that's because I didn't follow the actual directions, and so they were like, by processing them, so they were too thick and they didn't really taste that good. They weren't like sweet. Like, I don't want my pancakes to be sweet, but they weren't like sweet at all. They were like bitter. So there was that, and also, yeah, I ate the last 2 burnt ones and I put some syrup on them, and I was hoping that Aunt Jemima could fix it for me, but I gagged. I literally gagged. So we're just gonna forget that happened, put that behind us. I will never make those again. I'm not discrediting the recipe because that recipe was for toddlers, which I realized while I was making them, but yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to the blondies. After finishing my schoolwork, the current plan was to make both blondies and brownies, but then I realized that I didn't have enough butter because of the quarantine, so I ended up having to make just blondies, but I was kind of okay with that, so look at me here feeling myself. I went ahead and I sectioned out the butter, so one part I was going to use for the batter and the other part I was going to use for the frosting that I was going to put on top of the actual blondies, so I went ahead and I started heating that up, and then I moved on to getting my pan ready. So we were supposed to use aluminum foil, but instead I used parchment paper, wax paper, I don't know. So the first thing I put in the dry mix is brown sugar. Next I noticed that I heated up the butter a little bit too much, so the milk proteins are like floating on top like this. But that's okay since I didn't want the blondies to rise. So I go ahead and I put it in the butter, and then I added in some salt to taste, which I like mine salty, so I added a lot of salt. But it's whatever. So then I mix that all together, so here's some nasty, wet mixing ASMR. After mixing it looked like this, which I think is because I've melted the butter too much, but it's okay. Next I added my egg. And then I put in some vanilla extract, some cinnamon, and some allspice. So then I got that all nice and mixed together, and I thought it looked better. This is what it looked like, so. Then in a separate bowl I put together my bananas, and I started to mash those with a fork. This is how they looked once I was finished. So then I went ahead and I added those together to the other mix, and then I mixed it all together. Then it looked like this. So next I added the flour, mixed that all together, so then it looked like this, and then it was time to test. For some reason I oiled the parchment paper and it ended up looking like this, and I was not pleased. It looked disgusting, but whatever. I've been broke so many times, I needed to believe. Mama said it's my fault, It's my fault, wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't know any other lyrics. Ooh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. Hey. With somebody who loves me. Once I smoothed it all out and stuff, it looked like this. You good? So I set the timer for the blondies and went ahead and started to find a pan for the frosting, and after I found that, it had been 8 minutes already and I needed to check on it. This is what it looked like, and then I failed the first time to get it out.
I can't pick it up.
So then I went and got 2 mitts, and yay! Now it's time for like the sauce, frosting stuff. So I put the heat on like medium, and yeah. I put in the butter while the pan was starting to heat up. And then here I am tending to the butter, stirring it constantly, and all that jazz. Some days things just take way too much of my energy. I look up and hope what's spinning. The recipe, which will be down below, said that the butter should take on an amber color, but I've never heated up butter before, and I noticed that there were like grainy brown bits in the bottom, and it was kind of scaring me, but I stirred nonetheless. And after this, I removed it from the burner and let it sit, and this is what the consistency looked like directly after I pulled it off. And then I got out my other ingredients, and I set the timer for 10 minutes. The fact that it was so hard kind of scared me, but I just went on, so I added the powdered sugar, and then I added some vanilla extract. And as you can see, this is how it looked. So then I got to stirring. Because it was much more clumpy than it was supposed to be, I added a little bit of milk and I got to stirring. And mind you, there was something wrong with this clip, and it is 13 minutes long. Like, I don't know what's wrong with it, but there's something wrong with it, so yeah. With all these transition clips, you're all getting like a concert. Anyway. Ooh, oh, I walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. Oh, honey. Anyway, as you can see that, like, it's already looking a lot better by just adding a little bit of milk. And after I filmed this clip, I added, yeah, right here, I added a little bit more milk just so it doesn't harden up wrong. So, yeah, and then I got back to stirring. After I was finished stirring, this is how it looked, and I was ready to put it on the blondies. So, here's that clip, which also got messed up too. Like, I don't know what happened to these clips, but yeah, I'm just gonna try to edit them as best as I can. After this, my kazoo's gonna need a break. Okay. What happens next? Is that the right thing? It's not even. Anyway, bye Animal Crossing. This is the finishing touch. This is the finishing touch of the blondie. Also, go follow Smoothie Queen on TikTok. Yeah. I went ahead and put that in the fridge, and then I noticed I had one more peanut butter ball left. Next I cleaned, and then I ate some Cheez-Its. Finally, it was time to try the blondies. So I went ahead and I got them out of the fridge. I need to stop saying went ahead. Take a shot every time I say went ahead. And I lifted the blondies out of the pan. This is how they looked. They looked pretty good. And it was time to start cutting them up. This one goes out to everyone at Quince. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. And I love you for 1,000 more. Oh, shoot. I think I did something. In case you couldn't tell, those blondies were really good. They were like really good. I am proud of myself, especially since that's the first time I've ever like made a sauce like that. It was like banana bread, but like in a brownie sort of dense build with that brown butter sauce on top. So I was afraid that the brown butter sauce, when I tasted it, it would make it too sweet, but after I tried it like all together, it actually balanced out really well because the blondie part wasn't that sweet and the sauce was sweet, plus it added an extra dimension with like I layered the brown sugar into both and the butter into both, so it worked well together. So yeah, it was really good, and I'm like so now, because I'm in quarantine and I can't share it with anyone but my immediate family, I'm going to gain 1,000,000 pounds. Alright, so thanks for watching. Consider making those blondies. They're really good next time you have some like, oh, my wig showing? Next time you have, next time that you have some overripe bananas, make sure that you make some blondies, don't waste them. And thanks for watching. Bye. This one is for the boys with the booming system, top-down AC with the cooler system. When he come up in the club, he be blazing up. Got stacks on deck like he's saving up. And he ill, he real, he might got a deal. He pop butters and he got a right kind of bill. He cold, he dope, he might sell coke. He always in the bed. Okay, that's enough. Bye.